What's up and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some of Idle Champions' coolest campaigns and characters. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CND Games or later on your favorite podcast service, B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the Idle Champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're here with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. But until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
I am Erin M. Evans. I am a content designer for Idle Champions and Forgotten Realms. I am also the author of the Brimstone Angels Saga, which is a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring 3 of your favorite Idle Champions, Frida, Havilar, and Mehen. I also played Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
Yeah.
Hello, B. Walters. I have my own audio cue there. I have a jingle, from when I come on screen. I do that. Yeah, that thing you saw. All over the interwebs, wherever fine streaming content can be located. And I play freely on 7 or 8 different streams currently. Heroes of the Plains, Dragon aficionado, yes, you might say.
Do want to give a heads up to people watching live. Yes, we know B-Dave's audio is cracking. We don't know why the stream is late because XSplit didn't want to work. It's been a fun morning, y'all.
Just you know what? Let's be grateful for each other's company right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. What I want to say is we're taking on all the possible problems that Trials launch could have. Trials is happening today. We're taking all the problems that it could have. We're just taking them into here. No problems with the launch.
So to draw the eye of Bishaba over
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll get Tiamat's wrath our way.
I was about to say, if this were an inciting incident, this would be the Cult of the Dragon trying to stop us from talking today. It won't work.
And exactly, yeah. And speaking of Cult of the Dragon, that's what we're here to talk about. Though Erin and I were remiss when we started the call that neither of us wore purple.
Yeah, so we was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love
it. You prepared.
If I turn off the green screen from the background from my non-existent green screen, it'll pop. There we go. A little more. A little more stable there. There we go. And I have a dragon. I got a dragon. A dragon that's not Tiamat. I mean,
is it an undead dragon? Because that is particularly the jam of the Cult of the Dragon.
I mean, this one's it's looked like this for about 50 years, so it's
seems
maybe.
Well, that's a good question because dragons live a really long time.
True.
Let's just say yes.
Yeah. Well, no, it's gonna live forever. Sorry, corporate branding. No, this dragon is alive and well. And will be alive.
It would be cool though if they did for Halloween, they did a Draco Lich style of it, where it's all like a skeleton dragon as the ampersand. That'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Wait, hang on. It's time. I gotta show off my babies again.
Oh god, as long as it's not the Juicy Boy. Oh, you got the Draco Liches.
Ooh.
Yeah, I do. No, the Juicy Boys do, by the way. He's due. But no, this is the Draco Lich. These are the Whiz Kids, the blue Draco Lich and the green Draco Lich.
I've been thinking about getting that blue one. That blue one's real cool.
It yeah, quite nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that this would be my jam to worship. There's a lot of exposed vertebrae, but I would probably say whatever it needed to hear to its face, though. Yeah. Whatever it's like. Do you worship me? Yeah, 100.
Big hundo.
Hundo P. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I as far as Cult of the Dragon goes, I didn't. My first introduction to them was the Tyranny of Dragons, mainly because I hadn't actually played a Forgotten Realms game until 5th edition. So I was actually unaware that they had this long history in the lore. Where do you want to start with the Cult of the Dragon?
Just give the super overview of who they are and what the jam is. They like undead dragons.
What's their resume? What's their CV look like?
They believe that Dracoliches, that undead dragons, are the sort of true rulers of the earth. That these are the ones destined to be sort of the final gods. And this sounds a little bit off. It is a little bit off. This cult was started by a very powerful wizard named Samaster, who seems a little obsessive about things, but he so he's from far back in the history. Let's see, like 817 DR, and we're in the like 1490s, I believe. And he's got a lot of intersection with, he studied with Elminster. He had a relationship with one of the seven sisters, Illustriel, also a little obsessive. He comes to learn about necromancy, about reanimation. He gets a little bit obsessed with it, and he convinces himself that what really needs to happen is that dragons need to be taught to be liches. And actually, he creates the first Dracolich, which was a red dragon.
Wait, really?
Wow. Yeah. First, I believe the first Dracolich, first successful Dracolich, the wiki notes, which I love, because that implies some experiments that didn't go great.
Oh no.
See, I don't mean to interrupt your point, but I always feel like this with like eating blowfish. Like I feel like the first one must have been fairly promising, because I mean that's a hard sell to begin with. You're like, check this out, we're gonna kill you and bring you back, and then the first one dies and stays dead. Selling the second one,
you go to the other one like, no. I don't know. Evil dragons, there's a certain amount of like narcissism there, where if you're like, well, that one died, but really, aren't you stronger and more powerful than that one? Surely you'll be fine. You might be able to coast on that at least for 2.
Yeah.
That's my suspicion if you planned it right.
I do agree that you would have needed a win within the first within the first 1 to 2 specimens.
I feel like there's kind of a fun twist on the reanimator story that you can do with that.
Oh yeah, he's there's a quote in here. He was convinced that Toril would suffer a great apocalypse, and naught will be left save shattered thrones with no rulers, but the dead dragons shall rule the world entire. So this is a little bit of an apocalypse cult.
So they don't just believe, like, they're not like, oh, dragons are gonna rule everything. They're specifically saying undead dragons are
yes, specifically. They get some alliances with non-undead evil dragons. Clearly they're like down with Tiamat for the time being, but their end goal seems to be Dracoliches. I don't recall if they ever make a suggestion to Tiamat that maybe she'd like to be a Dracolich. I don't even know what would happen. I don't know what would even happen.
First of all, through Tiamat all things are possible. Second, I do think you that same thing that got pitched to her once or maybe 5 dudes pitched it in heads, nom, and they're like, we'll get back to it. When she becomes a lady of a certain age, when her scales start to gray a little bit, then they'll be like,
someone put WWTD, what would Tiamat do?
Y'all think I don't live my life according to that principle now? I'm just saying, 5 heads are better than 1, literally.
Oh,
literally.
I love that.
I do. It goes back to like with humans. Okay, I kind of get it. Even wizards live a long time, but we're looking 100, 150 years and we're out. I get it. Baelnorn don't make any sense to me because elves are already going to live like a super long time, and Baelnorn are the freaking gray Jedi of D&D to me, by the way, where you're like, I want to be an elf, but I want to be a lich, but I still want to be good, but I still want to have dark powers, So Baelnorns are stupid too. So then
that sounded like me as a teenager with fan fiction.
I said what I said, Treavor Bettis. Also, it was me as well when I was young with fan fiction. That's why Grey Jedi exists. Do not come at me, because I will take the time to refute all of you. But with dragons, they live so long and they're so powerful. It actually makes more sense to me that it is the blue dragons and the green dragons and the weaker dragons that are like, hey, the cult comes to them and they're like, check this out. Like, we agree that like gold dragons are stupid, right? Okay, right. and red dragons kind of suck too. All right. What if I could make you stronger than them? And eventually you're gonna rule the whole world. Because here's the thing.
Maybe not today.
Not wrong.
Maybe tomorrow.
over a long enough timeline, the survivability drops to 0. But then I feel like you're going to get to this point where you're going to have like 17 Draco-liches mean girling each other over the ashes of Toril.
Are you trying to tell me that the cult of the dragon is the MLMs of apocalyptic cults? Listen, you be a Draco-lich, you get your friends to be Draco-liches, y'all survive.
They're the reverse mortgages of Forgotten Realms. Like they're preying upon the unsuspecting with an offering of questionable value. And yeah.
That's
I'd like to go on the record and say they're not wrong though.
It's true.
There's also I enjoy Dracoliches have an ability to inhabit the body of any reptilian corpse upon death, although that gets interesting because I don't know that dragons are canonically reptiles, but whatever.
They're really kind here.
But that also includes inhabiting the corpse of another dragon, so you can just bop around. Possessing stuff without actually losing your body and thereby your territory, right? You get to keep your hoard, but you also get to possess things like a ghost. But it does make sense to me that dragons didn't figure this out on their own, right? That some human mage came up with this idea because on its face, you're right. Like they live forever. They're super not forever, but they live a really long time. They're
functionally forever.
Super powerful. Like, why do they care? But if someone comes to you and like, but what if the world ended and you were the only thing left and you got to be a god and rub it in the faces of those dumb gold dragons? They might listen.
Yeah. But it's also like not saying like the minis that BDF have there speak for the whole canon, but it doesn't make sense that most of the time Draco-liches are like around the adult age, because I feel like an ancient dragon would be like, listen, I'm so tired of this crap. Like, I don't need to be a living skeleton past this. Just let me go.
It does seem like you reach a crossroads in your pursuit of power.
Yeah.
That you're like, am I going to lean into this ancient worm thing? Am I just going to stock up a horde somewhere and like get fed in a volcano for another good 600-700 years? Have a pretty good run.
Yeah.
Or full commitment to the dark path of of low body fat percentages, of the draconic 12-pack of literally being shredded. Because again, I don't know if you noticed, the blue one had all kinds of holes in its wings. It's literally yeah. But I mean, as far as I can tell, one of the things I like about the Cult of the Dragon, at least as far as I can tell, is they're serious. Like this isn't a trick. You know what I mean? Like they're not.
But they are true believers. It is not a cover.
But I've also heard that as much of true believers as they are not quite Excelsior. Like they mess up quite often.
It does sort of. It feels like a belief system that requires you to be a little not logical. So it doesn't surprise me that they're not necessarily thinking through all their plans.
I mean, it is an intersection of the Venn diagram, though, of like, are you into dragons? I can comprehend it. Are you into the undead? I mean, I guess, again, not here to kink shame anybody. What if there could be undead dragons? Yeah, right.
They were all your friends, and I mean, for certain values of friend,
yeah, you're
bringing them stuff. So,
I mean,
so what is some other like points that, or well, before Tyranny of Dragons, what were some things that like the Cult of the Dragon got up to? Like, is there any like real big things that they were known for besides just like, yay, dragons?
I will say the wiki has an entire page of history of the Cult of the Dragon.
Oh.
So yeah, they are not like some of these where it's like, here's one brief entry and do what you want with it. You could still do what you want with the Cult of the Dragon, to be clear, as long as there are undead dragons.
Yep.
Otherwise, you should probably change the
I do
name.
realize I have kind of messed that up. I've never actually had the Cult of the Dragon use an undead dragon.
You know, I would submit they are the biggest dragon fans because they still love them even after they're dead.
There you go.
Like the rest of us casuals, you know, the things we're into when they go in the ground, like we quit showing up to their concerts, you know, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Yeah, no, them being so what year did you say that the cult actually started up?
So Samaster is born in 817. He makes the first Dracolich in 902.
So they've been going a long time, like 500 years.
Yeah.
They've really been
that's a
gunning for
long
this
time.
apocalypse.
I was gonna say that's a long time for this sort of pure apocalypse cult to keep going, considering it's like it's not happening and it's not happening and it's not happening. But I guess if you're super into dragons, maybe you start thinking on their time scale. So this is basically, you know, a long weekend kind of.
Well, it's, you know, it's gotten pretty close because, you know, there was the split with the beer, first of all, that some of them are old enough to remember.
The Time of Troubles is in there.
Time of Troubles hits, Spell Plague hits. They're like any day now, but then these stupid heroes keep going out and saving the world because someone's trying to end it on the regular, if you think about it. Then like Elminster or Dritz who just like don't know how to just stay home and let it happen. Put more time on the clock.
Indeed.
It does kind of explain like why they wouldn't try to go stop anyone that's like rivaling them, because they're like, no, we know it's not going to work. Like it's our apocalypse. It's not theirs.
In the Tome of the Dragon, it says.
Yeah.
To be fair, the Tome of the Dragon actually has all these sort of experiments and thought processes of Samaster. So actually, maybe it does. Maybe it has a here's how it's going to go down kind of prophetic thing in it. But largely, it's how to make a Dracolich, how to convince a dragon to become a Dracolich.
In just 10 easy steps.
I feel like it's also necessary that the dragons never met a Dracolich too, as part of the cell. Like,
probably. Although, so there's a, I don't know a lot of Dracoliches, but there is one, which I have to look at the name because it's hard to remember exactly how you say it. Alasker Banbastos.
Huh?
Yep. They call him the Great Bone Worm. He proclaimed himself the Dragon King of Old Unther, and he ruled the kingdom of Threskull. He is interesting. He has the distinction of being the only Dracolich to have had his physical form destroyed twice in the same year. Good job, buddy.
Same year.
Good job. But what's cool is he's this giant skeleton dragon with like lightning going between his bones and stuff. Like this is somebody who has mastered the art of presentation.
Right? Yeah.
And also I like saying Alasker Banbastos.
it's did you say the great bone worm? Great bone worm. It reminds me of college. I had Canthraxis, the blue Dracolich in the Moonshae Isles, figured rather prominently into A Darkened Wish. It was not in the comic, but it was in the stream because they tried to recruit the Dracolich to come and fight in the final battle. Which, you know, it went where it went. Won't spoil it if you ever see, but I was in the process of all of this. I was like, what's in that cave down there? A Dracolich.
Hey!
And I did have some dragon cultists there.
This just reminded me. There are several named Dracoliches, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like this is an okay time to look into that because, like, I don't know if we're ever going to do like a Dracolich episode. They're kind of relevant, especially in this context.
Yeah, no, there's
my God, there's so many.
Oh, no, I'm just gonna. We should take turns, kind of trying to wrestle with some of these names. There's a lot of letters. There's a lot of consonants in some of these things.
What in the?
Wait, jump on that first one, Trevor. Let's see.
That first one? Oh gosh. Agazatam. Nope.
Agastam.
Sure.
Zoom tight. I got Argen Volstolt. Was he German?
Oh.
Volstolz.
I think isn't that the one from
Oh.
Barovia?
I mean,
Because the Silver Dragon people.
yeah,
I think that's him. Yeah.
right. I was like, is he German? It's like, no, he's Barovia. Got it. So yeah, that's Arkin Volstolz.
Yes.
Tells you everything you need to know about Strahd, that he's just got a Draco Lich chilling in Barovia. Wait, Aaron, the third one. You gotta try it.
I think that's what she already said, isn't it?
Oh,
That's Alaskar Banbastos.
Yeah. Okay.
Alaskar Banbastos. That's where I mess up.
All right. Okay, we'll do the one after it then.
Arglorosa. That's what I'd say.
Sure.
Who is a shadow dragon.
Oh. Shadow dragons are cool.
See, on my list, I got Elglotix is above that.
Oh, you know what? I think I just read the linky one because some of them are not. Yeah,
I'm just reading them. Yeah.
Or I'll just pick another one at random to try and say Ebon Death. I'll go with that one. That was a roll.
Just jump ahead.
Right, that's low hanging fruit. Although that is a pretty cool name, by the way. It's like Ebon Death.
I think that was the one that they actually did a magic card of in the recent set. Yeah, I think it was cool.
Yep. There's definitely some updated art there. Yeah.
I really am realizing that I have messed up. Like I think I've done a Draco Lich once. I gotta mess up my players.
See, this is the problem with it. Talking about it from the game perspective and not just the lore perspective, is pound for pound, they're not the strongest enemies, and you would really think they should be.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you introduce them at a dramatically appropriate moment, but I feel like pound for pound, a red Draco Lich should be stronger than a red dragon. The same way a Lich should be stronger than a wizard.
Well, see, that's the thing. And I think that actually is important to how they're created. Because if it was like an ancient dragon that had figured out the magic to become a Draco Lich, it probably would be Lich level. But this was some cult leader human that was like, but I can make you better, though. And just... Kinda did.
Right.
So you say they're on the performance enhancing drugs of dragons there?
Yeah. Yep. That's 100% it.
They're like Steve Martin. Like they look old early, but then stay that way forever. It's like a power jump, and then they're just fixed in time. Yeah. Like Steve Martin looked 70 when he was 25, but he still looks 70 now that he's like 84 or whatever. Yeah. Yep. That does make sense though. But I mean, with so many of these things, just as an aside, talking about the game, the reason why the different dragon can exist and are so valid is I think people a lot of times think of dragons as in-game encounters, but a low-level party can have a pitch battle with a wyvern that actually will have like higher stakes. They got lower hit points and less options. Like you can fight for your life with a wyvern. So it's more picking the right thing to drop at the right time. And also remember that these things are very intelligent. They're very shrewd. They're very calculating. Like this Draco Lich or any dragon. I mean, a Draco Lich might be more fearless about dying. So like, what are you going to do? I'm just going to find a new body. Yeah. But, theoretically, they're not necessarily going to go out of their way to just fly down and be like, here's a target, breath weapon, fight me. Let them fly by, breath weapon, and leave.
It's a long game.
Yeah. Leave the characters to marinate on that. Let them shape change. Let them summon some stuff and send it at them. Torment them a bit.
I gotta read this riff that the real Bunny Beast put into chat because it's it quotes, "Meet me behind the lair in 5 minutes. I'll hook you up. It's gonna be lich."
They're all super broy. Like the Cult of the Dragon are all in like jerseys.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
they're
pressuring the other dragons.
I know. They're like, bro, you want to add like 4 plates to your dragon horde? Yeah. Does your dad not respect you? The other dragons think you're too little. Come on, we got you.
I would love to play the Cult of the Dragon as a bunch of frat bros, just like, hey, we look good in purple, right?
Yeah, right. Look at this.
It does say for 5th edition that only an ancient or adult true dragon can transform, that younger ones die in the transformation.
Really?
And that shadow dragons can't anymore. They've lost too much of their physical form to make the transformation. But I would argue, like, if it's cool, you should do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Because because I do like the logic of like, you know, you're a younger dragon, you're looking at all these older dragons who are telling you, no, you can't have that.
Also,
You go,
WizKids
well,
didn't
but I
get that
could.
memo.
Rules are guidelines.
Yep, it's fair.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Even when making miniatures. But yeah, so the going back to the cult though, they well, what happened after that dude died? Like, is there just been like a string of different leaders?
Well, sort of. So Samaster dies. He's replaced by this guy Algashon. There is a schism, which I love schisms.
It's a good word. It's a good
It
song.
is. So this
great
other mage, Tualhalva Drakewings, shows up and he's like, "You're terrible at this. I'm gonna take over." He's, well, to be fair, he's actually operating in secret for a lot of the time. He's Church of Bane again. The Baneites always want to have a schism. And so
Love
we
a
end up
schism.
with like factionalism within it. They have splitting off cells. You have smaller cults arising. And at some point in here, 1282, a lich shows up and says, "Yo, I'm Samaster, back again, and I'm running this thing now." So for that point, I guess he's just there briefly, and everybody's like, "Hold up a second," because then another group takes over, the Triumvirate, and in the current era, it's a new person whose name I've forgotten. Severin.
Oh yeah, that's
Silrajan.
yeah, that's the dude from Tyranny of Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that name. Trying to pronounce that weekly.
Dog. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, like most evil organizations, there's a lot of infighting. Well, let's be real. A lot of organizations, there's a lot of infighting.
True. At least the evil organizations are like forthcoming about it. You know, they're
Yes.
out in the open.
Well, one thing that I mean, like I made the joke several times, but like one of the things that I do remember so much from Tyranny of Dragons was the wearers of purple, like, and that's kind of the thing that's going on right now with some of the skins that you can get in Idle Champions, the Worm Speaker skins, and it's several of the champions in purple with, like, you know, cool draconic stuff on them. Was that always a thing in the Cult of the Dragon, or was that Severin's like, hey, I really like this style?
That's a good question, because I'm like, I don't know. And the Worm Speaker is actually like the highest echelon of the cult. So the skins were using the cool iconic word, but probably the champions are not sneaking into the Cult of the Dragon going, "Hi, I'm the VP of Red Dragons. Nice to meet you."
What are you talking about? That's Kurt. He's right there.
Could you imagine again the mean girling that the VP of Red Dragons walks in looking at the VP of Blue and Black Dragons like,
CR15s, I see.
keep at it, old chums. You know, I realized there was the original founder became a lich, became a lich, came back, and then got deliched. But you would
Also,
think there would be a lot more of that too, because once you sold the premise of undeath is the route to eternity, and that's how it's all going to go down, I feel like they would be just as happy to become human liches, if only to be there to be of service to the Draco liches.
Yeah, that is a good question. Like, are they full like nihilistic cult where like, now we ain't gonna be here for it, or are they trying to look to staying alive?
I have to admit, I'm not sure. There's not a lot of emphasis on that part.
I definitely think that's one thing that's
the
kind
bits I've read.
Yeah, I think that's something that kind of left up for DMs to mess with in their stories and whatnot. But I wasn't sure if there was anything that they had officially said.
Yeah, if I had to wager a guess, from what I can tell, is that they are preoccupied with draconic undeath, not human undeath, and I think there's always that implication that liches don't play well together. You know what I mean? That like it takes a certain kind of person to be a lich, and it's much easier to find just random cultists, because the people that have the wherewithal to become liches don't want to spend eternity serving something else, or they wouldn't have become liches.
Mhm.
It's also like there's prep work to being a lich, and so like if you're the VP of Red Dragons and you're like, I'm gonna go ahead and be a lich, and the VP of White Dragons is there, and they're like, no, you're not. There's space in there to be stopped by your peers if the ethos of the cult is like, this is for dragons, it's not for us. Except Samaster. And we, when he came back and was like, wait, I'm also a lich, we ended him.
Mhm.
I also enjoyed when
Real
he came
Bunny
back.
Beast did ask, does deliched just mean slain by adventurers?
That's literally what it means. That's literally what it means. I was being polite because we're among friends here. No need to get caught up in the unpleasant details.
Mm-hmm.
So I do enjoy in that 1 year where Lich Samaster was just like, I'm in charge now. It was very wild. And he did try to resurrect Algashan, the person who succeeded him, as a Bane. He has to resurrect him as a Bane Lich with the intention of saying, this is my second in command. We are now ruled by 2 liches. But it's it's a bunch of wildness. The grand history of the realms is the source for all of this greatness. So I assume this is a story someone was like real into, and then the spell plague hit and 4th edition slid the timeline down. But yes, during the kind of the lead up to that, he was destroyed. Or it is possible it's in a novel and I just totally forgot which one. I will say that for the chat. The Wearers of Purple is a thing that comes up in Algashan's reign. It seems like maybe dude just really liked purple, so everybody did it, and then that became their thing.
I don't blame them.
I mean, there's a real chance this was introduced into the lore when there was a time that certain iconic individuals made purple a really big deal in the world. So why not? Well, no. I know why they like purple. Hold on a second here.
Also, real quick, Evil Emperor Zerg said Samaster as Alhaig. They're looking them up. Is that the same person?
No. Wait, no. I think I got it. No, but continue your point. I'm just making sure I'm not about to say something really dumb.
Samaster is who? I don't know this one.
Yeah, it said they're looking them up. They're asking if Samaster is as in Alhaig, because I think there's Alhaig Samaster.
But I don't think it's that same person.
Yeah, I think it's a different person.
Okay. No, I think I got it. I think I know why they. Y'all don't.
I love this because we keep finding little things. We're like, wait, we don't know that.
I think the reason why they dress in purple's a mix of red and blue, and those are the main evil dragons, red and blue. So they wear purple.
Meanwhile, the green dragons are like rude.
Yeah, they're like the rich are just over there with stacks of cash. Like the black dragons too. Yeah, they're like, we're metal. Also, that's why the lights are off.
For those of you live with us right now, there's a giveaway happening for a raffle. Enter for a raffle to win a Bardic Inspiration shirt, which I can attest is very comfortable. You can type in. I'm sorry, I have to say it's the code. If you type in Bahamut. You can win a Bardic Inspiration.
Here's this. What sucks about this? This hand to God the truth. I spent so much time being pro Tiamat and talking trash about Bahamut. I completely forgot that Freely actually really likes Bahamut.
Yeah.
So in this one very narrow thing, people still apologize that I'm playing Freely, and I'm like, why? No, Bahamut's great, sure, yeah. And then cut. I'm like, boo, Bahamut, he's dumb. Yeah.
It's like every time you say, Bahamut's cool, you have to go. Pooh.
Exactly. Just have a spit cup off to the side. I would be remiss if I didn't take every opportunity that I could to represent for my homeboy Null, who I feel is always overlooked. Tiamat Bahamut's other brother, Null, who is Shadow and Death. You would think he would be the number one most worshipped dragon among these cults of the dragon. Because he represents everything that they want. Although.
But he's not a Dracolich, and that's really kind of their thing. But I think you have a good point.
they're like, there's just that.
Like, but are you made of bones? Because bones are interesting. Like,
I'm made of bone and shadow. Yeah, right.
So I did find one thing that Semaster did that I almost forgot about. So there is something that happens in Forgotten Realms called the Rage of Dragons. So there's this, I think it's a comet that comes around, and when that happens, the dragons go crazy. They all become very bestial. They kind of turn more into like the dragon that the knight slays instead of the clever, like plotting kind of it's a comet or cometary body, to be clear. So the Rage of Dragons happens periodically. In 1373, Semaster puts his phylactery into a mythal, a Draco Rage mythal, and triggers an unanticipated Rage of Dragons. So there's a period there, which is, I think, in like 3rd edition time frame, where the dragons out of sequence all get kind of crazy, because now this powerful thing is sending out whatever vibes make their brains turn off.
He just harshed all of their mellows all at once.
Oh, I see. And so, yeah, these are usually quite short, but the Rage of Dragons lasted a whole year.
Oh, wow.
It resulted in the destruction of the Draco Rage mythal. Curse time.
That's wild.
So, I'm not clear that he did it on purpose, or if he was just like, this seems like a good place to stick my phylactery.
I'm sure everything will be fine.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
So we're getting towards the later part of the show here, and I got a couple questions, but I have a question. But before we get to that, is there any last things that we want to touch on with the Cult of Dragons? I mean,
worm speaker skins, they look cool.
They are real cool, and I do have to say, overall, like, I do really like them in Tyranny of Dragons. Like, they were fun to use. I love their whole, like, we're gonna team up with Thay, we're gonna raise Tiamat, everything's gonna be terribly great. But anything either you got?
Just bring it into Idle Champions and use them at your table. Yep.
Yes. So my question, I actually saw this on Twitter this morning, and I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to do with, we got Trials of Mount Tiamat coming. We're talking about the dragon cult. We're talking about a lot of dragons. So I thought it'd be fun to ask you all, what would be your dragon horde if you were a dragon?
Oh, is it something we already kind of hoard, or something?
I mean, it can be. It could be either.
I feel like it's implied it's going to be something we kind of already.
Yeah.
So I can answer quickly because it's a little bit cheating. Because I just did a thing with a deep dragon over this past weekend. Ooh. And deep dragons, one of the things that they value wealth, but they also value like knowledge and secrets. They're like they're, I would say they're like spies, but not quite, but they're information traders. So like, don't get me wrong, I love cash, y'all. I'm all about going Scrooge McDuck in the money bin, but I primarily I would be hoarding books and lost knowledge.
Ooh.
I feel like books is the good answer I have, because I do have a lot of books. I'm a little better about letting go and giving my books to other people when I'm done with them, but I am not. I just keep buying them, and they're waiting for me to read them.
Yep.
But my other answer is probably, my terrible answer is probably pajamas. I just buy a stupid amount of pajamas.
Comfiest dragon.
Right? That was my thought. I was like, what would you want to like layer on top of?
But but I love it even more. Like you got like this horde of pajamas, but you're also like a massive dragon in a massive dragon onesie.
I have been known to, at the end of the day, change into some like loungy pajamas, and then when it's time for bed, I change it to a different set of pajamas.
Oh, you're that person.
I love them.
Oh, I know that person. I was unaware that you're that person.
Can we not be friends now?
No, we can. And no, because first of all, it's adorable. Second of all, I'm not gonna bust out your geographic location, but you live in a place that is highly conducive to that.
That is true.
I don't.
That is true.
I spend the entire day wearing the bare legal minimum for whatever task I need to accomplish.
That is one of my least, but I do love summer, but one of the things I love less about summer is that the pajama options are not as cozy.
I'm just saying it's a zone of safety. If next week you want to show up in your comfiest PJs, I think we all
come show up in a onesie. Like I don't know if everybody saw Lauren Urban's Amazing Dragon onesie on Twitter, but I'm jealous.
You may get to see it sometime soon.
Oh, that's right. I do have one of those. It looks like a llama.
Oh.
It's very, very rarely cold enough.
Actually, Sean was wearing a dragon onesie on the show just before this, so
that's right.
There are a couple people in chat that's like, 100% be a pajama dragon. That'd be great.
Stay away from my pajama horde.
That's true.
I feel like
it's when Mama Dragon comes out.
I feel like because I have evidence of it, like right here, which I can't actually pull. I would have a horde of unpainted D&D minis.
That'd be hard. That'd be rough to lay in, though.
Yeah,
it'd be unpleasant.
Like unfinished project.
I got this thing right here with all of these unpainted minis. Plus Zariel. What are you doing in there?
I'm like, wait. If you listen really close,
recruiting.
I just heard a year come off of V Muse's life.
I'll apologize to her later.
She's just gonna Kool-Aid man through your walls.
What do you mean they're not painted? I have a whole show about that. Yeah, I feel like, it would be a dragon horde of shame. So.
Oh, guilt. Hordes should bring you joy, not
guilt. True.
That's
True.
fair. That's fair. God, well, you said you had a bunch. Your first one was like, I had a bunch of unread books.
That's true. That's why pajama is probably my real answer.
Oh man.
But I do get joy out of buying the books, and when I do read them, I get joy out of reading them. I just also go, oh man, I've had that for a year and I haven't read it.
I neither said nor implied I'd read all the books in the horde.
But you're not ashamed of it.
Oh no.
Yeah. No. There's no shame there.
What's that quote? I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember who said it, but basically, only if when you bought a book, it came with the time to read it. Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of like, okay, then what would be my horde of non-shame?
Can you hoard podcasts, Trevor?
It might be a podcast order.
My lair is a massive podcast studio.
You come down on a boom mic like that. Yeah. You sleep on the mic arm.
There's an overwhelming effect in my dragon podcast lair where spells have half of their distance because the sound doesn't go as far. Everything is sonic immunity.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, somehow I have a horde of podcasts. We'll go with that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
it's like you simultaneously live in a cathedral where the acoustics should be great, but it's all super soundproof, so it's eerily quiet. Yeah, that's it. But there's a buzz in there.
Yep.
Where's that buzz coming from?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
that's the quest. The quest would be to come into Treavor's horde and introduce the buzz, to drive him to rage and madness.
Oh my god.
That actually would be a good one, a good tweet where it's just like, me, whenever there's a buzz in a podcast, I can't figure out where it's coming from. It's just Smaug just going nuts.
Yeah, believe me.
Oh no, the crafting muse is here in the chat.
Yeah.
Me, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I have spoken her name and she hath appeared.
I may or may not have shown my drawer of shame of all the unpainted D&D minis I have. I'm sorry.
I just said you were going to Kool-Aid man through his wall, dude. Just boom. Yeah.
All caps, Treavor. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
Hey, zone of safety. That just means there's more joy to come.
It's true.
Oh my
It's
God.
true.
Paint those minis.
Yeah, it's true.
Also, Zariel is disappointed in you. Get her out of that box right
well,
now.
I realized why.
I figured
it's
she was in there recruiting. But...
No, it's actually sad. The stand broke off of her. So I put her in there with her stand because I do have her painted. Like she looks all cool
That's
and everything.
nice.
Yeah, she looks fearsome.
Yeah. But yeah, the stand broke, so I need to fix that.
What's that one that is standing like right in front of the hand, the hand of Vecna? There's the one that is standing behind
this one?
you.
That's
Yeah.
Drist. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He's just far back there.
This is the Hasbro figure. 'Cause I'm bad with my money.
I mean, that's an investment in something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, now that V is here and I know she can hear us, that's the Orcus that needs the boombox. V, him back there. We need a boombox that Orcus can hold.
It's important.
Yeah, because reasons. Yeah.
Oh wait, what is this? V says I'm already plotting. What? What did I do? Oh no.
She's gonna make you come on Paint and Slay and paint every one of those minis.
Oh, V says,
Make sure
I
it
can
happens.
do that.
I was about to say we just found like 3, 4, 6 episodes worth of content right there.
Exactly,
There was done.
exactly.
Boom.
Let's see. There aren't too many questions that came in, but let's see. We've got Pandolf Games says, wasn't the Dracolich thing thought to be a misinterpretation of the prophecy by the new cult of dragon in Rise of Tiamat? That actually does sound familiar. I think you're right. Which would explain why they're just like, yay, Tiamat. I actually did
That's
have
a big retcon.
Yeah, I actually did have it in my game world where they the cult of the dragon still exists after Tyranny of Dragons and whatnot. And so when Imrith came around, they were like, "Yay, Imrith!" And so they ran over to her and was like, "We're your army now." And she's like, "All right."
Well, that's the thing about cultists. I feel like they're fairly easily swayed by, a sufficiently charismatic leader. And I mean, Tiamat's here now, so, think about it.
Yeah.
There's also,
And so sorry, Aaron, I've interrupted
go
you so
ahead.
many times today. I apologize. If you think about your whole end game as everything dies and only the Dracoliches are left, letting Tiamat loose on everything is a pretty shortcut to getting a lot of death.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
There's
Yeah.
also, if you have an apocalypse cult that's running this long without an apocalypse, like somebody coming in and saying, "Ooh, see, previous guys misled you. This is a mistranslation. We need to do a different thing." That keeps it going because then you're like, I see our predecessors messed it up. So now let's do it this way. Surely this will work.
Just have this picture in my head of all these dragon cultists. Yay, apocalypse!
yeah. I mean, again, a lot of stuff goes wrong in the realms, though. They're like a Cerarax back in Schult. Yes, we're almost there.
So close.
Oh no, we're not there. We're not there.
No,
We're
back
not
to
there.
square one.
Yeah, like I mean, they're
living on a prayer.
Yeah. Oh, we're halfway there. Yeah.
I would deeply enjoy a game where Severin Silrajan is displaced by someone who's like, okay, so we tried Dracolich, we tried living evil dragons. What if the thing is actually not dragons, but like kobolds?
But with the
Just
friends we made
introduce
along the way.
Introduce some ridiculous schisms. There's so many choices here.
Yeah, actually, have a bunch of like shattered dragon cultists that are like, no, wyverns, that's where it is. No,
Yeah.
sea serpents, that's where it is.
To the tyranny of kobolds, you could convince them pretty easily.
At this
You can
point, they're
convince
grasping
them.
at straws. Something
Yep.
has to work. We just have to keep throwing things at the wall. Something's gonna stick.
Yep. Just be
One
evil.
of these apocalypses has to succeed.
Yeah.
Larnist asked, does all of this lore is all of this lore only applicable to idle champions, or is some connections to the grand lore of the Forgotten Realms? This is Forgotten Realms
Oh,
because
it's Forgotten Realms.
yeah, because idle champions 100% is like, what is the lore from the Forgotten Realms? Okay, here we go, put it in the game.
And it plays with it a little, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
this game exists in a sort of setting where all of these characters are together at an
Yes.
approximate level that's equal.
Do not ask me how Drist is in Barovia, but also doing all of Salvatore's books. Like, I don't. It's just Wibbly wobbly.
Multiverse.
Multiverse, yeah.
Let me tell you something. You're not
Variants.
the first person that had Dritch show up in Brovia. Okay, like trust me. That's yeah, it's fine.
Someone
fine.
said Cult of the Nerds. Yes, yes.
I mean, is that not?
They're just always hyper. They're just always got a
the
sugar
Elmo
high.
Flames.
The Elmo Flames.
Yeah. I mean, again, to bring it all the way back around, I'd say if really they should just focus their efforts on like getting rid of like Elminster. Like if you just took that one piece off the board, enough stuff would start to destabilize and go wrong. Look how close they got Neverwinter to the end, you know, just like everything would kind of just fall apart like a fondue machine that is improperly balanced.
You're now,
then boom.
You're now making me realize one of the actually big faults of the Cult of the Dragon, Tyranny of Dragons. They didn't try to like stop any of the things that could stop them. They're like, no, we're just gonna go for Tiamat. Now we're not gonna take care of these powerful wizards, these walking statues, these black staffs. Like none of it. Don't worry about it. They won't stop us.
Yep. Nope. Just head for the end zone.
Yep. Horse blinkers. Yep. All right. Well, I think that is a good place to end this week's episode. Friends, where can people find you? What awesome things are you working on?
You can find me on Twitter at Erin M. Evans. You can listen to me talk to these guys on Writing About Dragons and Shit, a podcast about writing of all types, but particularly fantasy, wherever fine podcasts can be found. And you can watch me at 6:30 tonight Pacific on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers, where I play D&D with a bunch of other fantasy writers.
Yeah.
B.Day Walters, I say words about things. So I pre-taped some stuff for D&D Celebration this past weekend, and I've rejected linear time and all the other lies of the before times, and I want to talk about it, but I realize I'm supposed to talk about it next week. So if I forget next week, we did some really great stuff for D&D Celebration. That is not this weekend, because this weekend is Gen Con. Have a good time. Everybody was there. Next weekend, D&D Celebration, we did some hotness. And follow me on the Tweetagrams at B.Day Walters, because I don't expect you to keep track of all the things I do, because clearly I barely can.
Many choices. That reminds me. So on Saturday, I am doing a remote panel. I think it's going to be on twitch.tv/GenCon, talking about the Forgotten Realms and things that are being made using the lore. So if this is interesting, there will be more interesting things. Ed Greenwood will be there, and Jen Kretschmer, and Eric Scottsby, and maybe some other people. But that time is shifting a little bit. So I will tweet about it. I hope you come and listen. Whatever it is, you can just camp out on Gen Con's Twitch channel, right? That's not asking too much.
No, just turn it on the back. Mom watch for like 17 hours, and then you hear that laugh, and it'll just snap you up. It's like she's calling. Yeah, like this, that's the version of the bat symbol. Like I hear Aaron laughing, and I'm just like,
he stands up like Michael Keaton.
Love it.
Yeah. That's it.
You can find me on the Difficulty Class podcast every Friday, as well as on Twitter at the Treavor. There's an A hiding in there. And normally you can find me on Champion Psychology, but we're on break because yesterday was the season finale. So you can go back and listen to them if you want. That episode will be up eventually. Thank you to Sasha for moderating in the chat. Thank you for Codename Entertainment for giving us opportunity to talk about some D&D. If you missed any part of this show, it will go up later as a podcast on your favorite podcast services, because it's a busy day. There's like this thing coming out in the game today that like is really big and, you know, might have people talking. So I need to pay attention to that. Let's see. If you're here live in the chat right now, stay where you are. Community D&D with Lauren is up next. If you were here last week and had fun with that, be sure to stick around. And even if you weren't here last week, stick around. It's a fun time. Now. Yeah. Everything Lauren says and does is correct. Yes. And yeah, we've got a bunch of really awesome stuff going on today. Tomorrow it is a great time to be an Idle Champions fan, so we hope you stick around for those and enjoy them. But that is going to do it for this week's episode. So until next week, Champions out.